Hi everyone, I'm Margot Freitag and welcome back to this little series that I'm making called The Power of Plant-Based Cheese. So I'm making a little series in YouTube. It's a playlist and I'm making a series of videos called The Power of Plant-Based Cheese. If you haven't seen the other ones yet, you can check those out. There are just a few in total, and I am just sharing a little bit about why we need to move away from dairy. So every video has something very important about the ramifications of eating dairy, the detrimental effects of dairy, just one thing, and then I share a recipe. So check those out if you haven't seen the others. And in this one today, I'm going to be sharing a cashew cream recipe that's lovely on top of pasta, and I'll share the recipe and how to make it. And I'm also going to talk to you about the dangers of dairy as it relates to cancer proliferation. So in case you don't know, dairy is related to cancer growth, and there are several aspects of dairy that are related to cancer growth. So first, dairy has high levels of estrogen in it, and estrogen is stored in fat. And so when we eat high fat sources of dairy products, we get even more estrogen. And so think of things like cheese, for example, right? So cheese is very high in saturated fat. Estrogen is held up in the fat cells. So pregnant cows are now milked throughout their pregnancies. And at the end stage of pregnancy in a cow, the estrogen levels are about 55 times higher than they are in a non-pregnant cow. So all of that milk is pooled, and of course we have a lot of estrogen in our milk and of course in our cheese. So that's the first thing to be aware of. The next thing is casein, which is the main protein in cow milk, and it is linked to higher levels of cancer as well and cancer proliferation. It turns out that when animal protein reaches 11% of daily calories, it actually turns cancer growth on. The other thing is, of course, the IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor. High levels of protein stimulate the release of IGF-1 in the body, and IGF-1, an insulin-like growth factor, promotes growth, obviously. And so it turns out that tumors, cancerous cells, have IGF-1 receptors on their surface. So they really love IGF-1 because it helps them grow. All right, so let's just talk about what cancers are affected by these things. So first of all, prostate cancer is very much linked to dairy products. Breast cancer and ovarian cancer are both linked to dairy. Now, I just want to talk about breast cancer for a moment because there's one other thing in dairy products that is often overlooked, and that is bovine leukemia virus. Now, it is said that bovine leukemia virus is killed in pasteurization, but the fragments seem to be equally as dangerous as the whole virus. So in some countries, they've taken decades to eradicate bovine leukemia virus from the herds. But in North America, that's just not the case. So every glass of milk, every piece of cheese. Now, what they have found is almost 40% of breast cancer tissue has bovine leukemia virus in it. So it's really important that we are aware of that. Bovine leukemia virus is really important to consider in children because it turns out that the bovine leukemia virus is identical in molecular structure to the leukemia found in childhood leukemia. So all of that sounds really daunting and kind of scary, but I think what's really great is that it just is so easy to choose non-dairy options. We have an abundance of dairy alternatives nowadays and a million recipes that are tasty and delicious, and really, really a great way to move forward with dairy-like products, dairy-like sort of that give you that creaminess and that texture without giving you all of the negative effects of dairy products. So today I want to share with you a beautiful recipe called cashew cream. And this is a great recipe for on top of pasta if you're looking for that sort of Alfredo creaminess. In fact, this is a great recipe just to cut out and put on the inside of your kitchen cabinet. It's really easy to whip up. And I'm really, as always, encourage you to get your children into the kitchen and making this recipe with you, because Kids love cooking. And if kids are a little leery about trying things that are new and different, the best way to get them on board is to get them touching and feeling and experiencing these new ingredients, putting them together, and learning themselves firsthand how delicious these things can be when we combine these ingredients. All right, so I have a cup of cashews soaking in water. If you can get these cashews soaking for about half an hour, overnight is better, but half an hour is probably enough. So we are just going to drain these out and pop them in your trusty blender. Add a half a teaspoon of oregano, 2 cloves of garlic minced, a tablespoon of rice vinegar, and a tablespoon of Dijon. And then you'll just want to blend this up. As you're working, you'll want to scrape down the sides of the blender and continue to add just enough water in small amounts until you get that desired creaminess. Add a little salt and pepper to taste and keep on blending until it's nice and smooth. So we are using Kamet penne here because I love that it's a whole grain, but it doesn't give you that grainy texture. There you have it, cashew cream. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below if you try it. And if you're inspired by this series, the Power of Plant-Based Cheese series, please subscribe to my channel, and share it with anybody you think might benefit. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.